Okay, we're given a one compartment vertical file is to be constructed by bending the long side of the 8 by 12 along these two lines to form a U shape. How tall should the file be to maximize the, there is your key word right there, volume. So this is using the volume formula, which if you remember, the volume formula is the length times the width times the height. Just for sake of doing this as an equation, I'm going to let x equal the height. So x is the height. The length I can see in this case is 8 inches. And you have to be careful with the width because notice that it's being folded. So the width would actually be 12 minus those two x's. So now we have what we need for our volume, which is the length 8 times the width times the height. I'm going to go ahead and put the x here and then 12 minus 2x. Okay, so from here I can distribute this all out. So this would be 96 minus 16, oops, I forgot my x, 96x minus 16x squared. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am actually going to factor out a negative 16. So that leaves me with x squared minus 6x. Okay, so I kind of flip these around, but 16 times 6 gives me my 96 and then my negative 16x squared. If I complete the square, because again, the whole point here to see the max is to get this, make sure we understand this middle value. So I can complete the square. Let me do it over here with the negative 16 still out front. X squared minus 6x. I'm going to add my b over 2 squared. And then of course I have to subtract it because all I'm doing in this step right here might seem weird, but this step right here, I'm adding 0, right? Because those cancel out. And so now I have negative 16 x squared minus 6x. This of course is going to be 3 squared. So plus 9 and then minus 9. Now you have to be careful because I'm going to pull this minus 9 out, but notice you have to distribute that. So I have v of x, in this case is my negative 16 still out front, my x squared minus 6x plus 9, and then I'm going to pull this out front here. So I'm going to be multiplying it, the negative 9. And so that gives me my v of x is this piece. Now you see I can factor it, x minus 3 squared, and then multiplying these two values gives me plus 144. So now notice in this case that my a, okay, that looks like an A, but it's not. My A was this negative 16 out front. And so when you have a negative quadratic, that means it opens like this, and this would be our max. And how do I find that vertex? Well, that simply would be my minus B minus 6 over 2, my A being 1 here, times 1. And thus this would be my max.